April 15th, 1967 Stanley Cup semi-finals. Toronto Maple Leafs and Chicago Blackhawks are on the ice. After the start of the second period, the score is 2-2. The Black Hawk forward Bobby Hull is the most powerful shot in the National Hockey League, or NHL, history, with a puck speed of 190 km an hour. The Maple Leafs goalkeeper is the Ukrainian hockey player Terry Sawchuk, nicknamed Yuki, known for his uncompromising play style. Sawchuk's low stance made goal defence more effective, but increased the risk of the puck hitting the head. His long-term rejection of the mask resulted in numerous scars on his face. In the remaining 40 minutes of the match, Bobby Hull sends 14 devastating shots into the goal area. Twice the puck hits Sawchuk's injured shoulder, but he continues to play on. After the match, when Yuki strips to the waist in the locker room, his teammates see the consequences of such dedication. This photo was taken in 1966 by Rolf Morse for Life magazine. It depicts 36-year-old Terry Sawchuk, named the NHL's best goalkeeper for the fourth time a year earlier. The photographer wanted to emphasize the many injuries on the sportsman's body. Terry spent most of his career on the ice without a protective mask. To do this, Morse asked the makeup artist to draw stitches on Sawchuk's scars. 400 stitches were not enough to mark all of them. During the golden era of hockey, cuts caused by the sharp blade of a skate or by being hit by a puck were common. The wounds were sewed up hastily, after which the athletes quickly returned to the ice. The goalkeepers played without replacements, for a small salary, sometimes with serious injuries. They were dedicated professionals, but even among them, Terry Sawchuk was special. In addition to hundreds of cuts, Sawchuk's list of injuries included 3 dissected tendons, 3 knocked out teeth, 2 nose fractures, a rupture of 2 intervertebral spinal discs, 4 broken left ribs and 3 more right ones, a dislocated left shoulder and a pinched nerve in the right one, 3 surgeries on the elbow, and the removal of 60 shattered bone pieces resulted in a 70% permanent loss of the use of his right arm. And let's not forget to mention broken fingers on his right hand and a fractured leg. On top of that, he underwent lung surgery after a car accident. His rivals regarded Sawchuk as a combatant, and it seems that he himself perceived hockey as a battle for life or death. Direct hits of a puck in the face were extremely dangerous. So why did the goalkeepers neglect the defence? The answer lies in the morals of pre-war and post-war hockey. At the time, NHL coaches believed that the mask limited the goalkeeper's field of vision, although goalkeepers wore it during training. Hockey players who raised safety concerns were regarded as wimps. However, the need for face protection was exacerbated when the NHL began to use curved hooks. The new sticks gave the puck more speed and were able to bring it up to the level of the goalkeeper's head. Montreal Canadiens goalkeeper Jacques Plante was the first NHL goalkeeper allowed to wear a mask. This happened after a puck broke Plante's nose and tore his cheek. Sawchuk continued to play without a mask for 4 more years after Plante put it on. He spent 12 full seasons in the strongest league in the world playing without face protection. During his time, he won the Stanley Cup 3 times, became the best goalkeeper in the league 3 times, and played 8 times in the NHL All-Star Games. Terry subjected himself to unthinkable tests for a huge part of his career, sacrificing everything for the sake of victory. Terry Sawchuk's life was full of pain. He was born in Winnipeg, Canada, on December the 28th, 1929, into a large Ukrainian immigrant family. His father, Louis Sawchuk, worked in construction. He moved to Canada from the village of Sirotsky in the Ternopil region. At 23, he had married Anna Maslak, a daughter of immigrants from Ukraine. A year later, Louis and Anna had their first child, Mike, 7 years older than Terry. The Sawchuk family lived in a small house. Terry and Mike shared one bed for two. Terry's older brother was an idol for him. By the age of 17, Mike was a budding goalkeeper. It was he who took his brother out on the ice, in pants stuffed with old newspapers, and taught him the basics of hockey. Mike's life ended in 1939 with a heart attack. No one in the family knew about the congenital heart disease of this athletic guy. Terry took the loss of his brother hard, promising himself to become a professional goalkeeper. He trained for years in his brother's goalkeeper pads made from a mattress. The tragic events did not end there. Following Mike, Terry's younger brother Roger died of pneumonia. The physical traumas started early. At the age of 12, Sawchuk, playing rugby, broke his right elbow. Fearing punishment from his parents, he hid the injury. The bones healed incorrectly, and the right hand became 5 centimeters shorter than the left, limiting the range of motion. The future goalkeeper would never again be able to extend his arm fully. At the age of 14, Terry left school and got a job as a factory worker. In his free time, the teenager continued to play hockey. He soon attracted the Detroit NHL team's attention, the Red Wings, and at the age of 16, Terry made his debut with the Winnipeg Flyers junior team. The young man was the best in goal, and soon he was promoted to the Galt Red Wings youth team in Ontario. It was time for Sawchuk to leave home. The Red Wings agreed to pay Terry $80 a month. Not much money even in 1946. Seeing him off, his mother thrust $10 into his hands. It was one of the few $10 bills she ever had, he later recalled. Even at a young age, Terry surprised everyone with his peculiar goalpost. The rules of those times did not allow NHL goalkeepers to kneel, so blocking a puck in butterfly style, which is what goalkeepers often do nowadays, was not an option. Sawchuk was the first to take a position at the gate with a forward inclination of the body. Sawchuk completely closed the gate with his body in such a stance, and with his hands he easily covered the upper corners. Such a posture subsequently resulted in injuries of intervertebral discs and constant back pain for the hockey player, due to which Sawchuk woke up every 2 to 3 hours at night. In January 1950, Terry Sawchuk replaced the injured Red Wings goalkeeper Harry Lumley. The main goalkeeper returned after 7 games. During this time, Terry brought the team 3 victories, and during one of the matches, he even managed to keep the goal clean. It was then that the outstanding goalkeeper was noticed and given the name Yuki, short for Ukrainian. On January the 18th, 1964, Sawchuk beat the Montreal Canadiens 2-0, setting a new NHL record of 95 matches without conceding goals in the regular season. Soon, during an intra-league swap, the Toronto Maple Leafs relocated Terry from Detroit to Canada's largest city. Yuki and his teammate Johnny Bower were rated as the league's top goalkeepers, but after the rise came the fall. Injuries tormented Sawchuk. He endured pain both on and off the ice. In addition to the physical suffering, he was also persecuted by chronic depression and panic attacks. In 1966, Sawchuk seriously thought about retirement. He was emaciated. "I'm tired and disappointed. It seems there's no point in staying in the league anymore," the hockey player once admitted. But Toronto Maple Leafs general manager Panch Imler convinced him to stay. Yuki and his teammates played an excellent season. On March the 4th, 1967, Sawchuk brought the team a clear victory over the season leaders, the Chicago Blackhawks, and completed the 100th match without conceding any goals. This record would last for another 40 years. "The first 100 is the hardest," Terry joked. Veterans from Toronto, including 42-year-old Bower and 37-year-old Sawchuk, entered the Stanley Cup playoffs as outsiders. The 5th match would be remembered for the confrontation between the impenetrable Yuki and the hard-hitting Bobby Hull. The Canadian goalkeeper repelled all 14 attacks of the scorer. Inspired by the goalkeeper's dedication, Terry's teammates rushed to the offensive and threw 2 unanswered goals. Sawchuk brought the Leafs a victory in which few believed, but immediately after the match, while his team was celebrating on the ice, Yuki retired to the locker room. Later, Terry's teammates saw at what cost the victory was achieved. The goalkeeper's hand, into which the puck crashed twice during the game, turned black from shoulder to elbow from a hematoma. Feeling like someone took a red-hot poker and stuck it in my hand, Terry described the sensations. The championship gave Sawchuk hope for another title. Terry spent 3 more years in search of a team with which he could achieve success. He brought debutants from the Los Angeles Kings to the playoffs, returned to his home club in Detroit, whose team turned out to be incapable of combat, and finally ended up in New York, where he played a record 103rd match without conceding goals. However, dreams of another cup were never fulfilled. Over the long years of his hockey career, Sawchuk did not get rich. While living in New York, he rented a house in Long Island with his friend and teammate Ron Stewart. On the evening of April the 29th, 1970, both hockey players got very drunk and argued for a long time about the house's costs. The verbal skirmish turned into a fight. The next day, Terry underwent surgery, where his damaged gallbladder was completely removed. Sawchuk's condition worsened, followed by another operation. He had a torn liver. On May the 31st, Yuki died at a Manhattan hospital at the age of 40. Sawchuk was buried in Detroit at Mount Hope Cemetery, next to his mother Anna. His father, Louis, outlived his son by 1 year, having witnessed the glorious moment when Terry Yuki Sawchuk was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto in 1971. And now race straight to the thumbs up button under this video, ring the bell, and share this with your friends. And make sure to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss the next episode of How It Was.